All right, we are ready for our review of the whole unit. We're going to start out reviewing our key concepts from chapters 1, 2, and 3. This is question 48 in your notes. So our first key concept is different substances have different properties. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to talk about each one. I'm going to read it, I'm going to explain it, and then I want you to pause and write it down. Then I'll read and explain number 2, and I want you to pause it and write down. Don't just write all these down. Let's do them one at a time so we can discuss them. So different substances have different properties. Properties are ways that you can identify substances, and we have two types of properties: chemical properties and physical properties. So pause the video, write this one down. Our second key concept: substances have different properties because they are made of different groups of atoms. These groups can vary in the types of atoms, the number of atoms, or the arrangement of atoms that make up the group. So this just means that you can combine atoms in practically an infinite number of ways to make almost an infinite number of substances. So pause, write this down. Key concept number 3, groups of atoms repeat to make up a substance. So for something like table salt, you have NaCl, that's sodium chloride, and then next to it is another NaCl, 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 and it just keeps repeating to make a crystal. Same thing with water. You just have H2O, 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 and it just builds up until you have a visible amount of a substance. So groups of atoms repeat to make up a substance. So pause and write this down. Key concept number 4. During a chemical reaction, one or more starting substances, the reactants, change into one or more different ending substances, products. So this is just saying in a chemical reaction, our substances change from one substance to another. So pause and write this down. Key concept number 5. During a chemical reaction, atoms do not change from one type to another. So a lot of people think that you get a new substance, that means you have new atoms. That is not the case. Atoms do not change. So if you had 7 carbon and 3 oxygen to start, you're going to have 7 carbon and 3 oxygen to end, because atoms never change from one type to another. A carbon atom will always stay a carbon atom. An oxygen atom will always stay an oxygen atom. Key concept number 6. During a chemical reaction, atoms rearrange to form different groups of atoms. So these means that the bonds have to be broken, the atoms have to move around to get a new shape in order to have a new substance. Key concept number 7. During a chemical reaction, all of the atoms that make up the reactants rearrange to form the products. So we use all the atoms, not just some of them, to form our products. Key concept number 8. During a chemical reaction, atoms cannot be created or destroyed. So all the atoms that are there at the start have to be there at the end. All the atoms that are in the products at the end have to be somewhere in the reactants at the start. So make sure you have these 8 key concepts written down in question 48, and then we'll move on to do the vocab.